An area where I see a lot of people struggle with is with tension in the front in their hips. That tension in the front of your hips stems from us sitting a lot. When we sit for a long time, our quad muscles get shorter, tighter, tighter. Your hips tilt more and more forward, and that's going to cause impingements in your hips and oftentimes pain in your lower back and tailbone and things of that nature. So we got to find good ways of opening that line up, that quad, those hip flexors, all that stuff in there. A great way to do that is going to be with the low lunge position. So what we're going to do here is you're going to start off here in a lunge position here. We're going to put one foot out front. This foot out front here is going to be roughly about 90 degrees. So this is going to be straight up and down here. I'm going to take this back leg and I'm going to actively push these toes to the floor, trying to make that leg super straight. So as I'm actively pushing through those toes, I'm going to think about this front leg pointing straight ahead. I'll show you from a different angle in a moment, but we'll just look from here to start. Pushing through those toes. This leg here is at 90 degrees. I'm actively pushing through here, feeling that. Even just right here, you'll start feeling a stretch. If you look down, I'm looking at my feet. My balls of my feet should be pushing through the ground. All my toes are pushing hard there. Now, if you want to make this, as you want to make this stretch a little bit easier here, what we can do is you can let your knee rest on the floor. I'm still pushing through these toes back here, so I'm still pushing through the toes. Then I'm going to slowly work my way on up to my knee here. Now, I'd like to take this hip and stack it up underneath me, so I'm not going to do that by just leaning my back here. I want you to think about taking your butt cheek and squeezing your butt cheek, trying to take that pelvis and tucking it this way, so a posterior tilt. So I'm going to squeeze that butt cheek. That's going to give you a really big stretch on the front side of that quad and that hip. You're going to hang out there and breathe for a bit. Again, if you wanted to feel that more, you could walk this foot further out a little bit, and then continue to squeeze that hip, not using your back, using your hip, and that's going to get even more of a stretch there. As you master that, to make it a little bit even better, you're going to work on raising yourself up off the floor. So again, I'm going to start from the same position here. I'm pushing that foot to the floor, making everything nice and long. Think about a straight line from your ear to your ankle. And then from this position here, while I'm still pressing, I'm going to work my hands up to my knee. Then I'm going to squeeze that butt, and I'm going to come on up here. Now, from this position here, again, it's easy to let your back arch or overextend. We don't want that. You want to drive that hip forward. I want you to think about your pelvis pointing straight ahead here, and that pelvis being level. I'm actively pushing through those toes the whole time. If I get lazy, not so much of a stretch, but if I push, you're going to get a lot more in through there. So I'm opening that hip up. And while this thing's getting a stretch, this front leg is working on stability, so this thing has to hold us up. Now, if you look straight on from this angle here, what I want to show you is, as I'm in this position here, that leg is straight, all that. As I'm holding here, I don't want this leg like shooting way out. I want that leg pointing straight ahead. So I'm pushing that back leg. Hips are nice and level, driving that hip forward. So I don't want that leg cave in or go out. You want to keep everything nice and straight. So again, progress yourself through this exercise as you see fitting. Start off with your knee on the floor to make it a little bit easier to lengthen everything out. And as you want to increase the intensity of that, you can bring that knee off the floor where your front leg is holding you up, while that back leg gets a big stretch. These are all things that you should be doing regularly, not like once a week. These should be like multiple times a day to help counteract all that time that we spend in a sitting position. Practice it as often as you can, and you'll get better and better every day.